Welcome back. Welcome to episode 344 of the Ready, Set, Blow podcast, kiddies. And before we get started this week, I'm going to tell you guys to follow me everywhere and follow the podcast everywhere on Instagram at Ready, Set, Blow podcast. Got the YouTube channel up. Got a lot of effort putting it behind that now. I'm spending fucking couple hours a day getting the page set up right. So please follow us on YouTube at Ready, Set, Blow podcast there. And TikTok. I'm on TikTok. Not myself. I have one on TikTok for myself, but the podcast is on there at Ready, Set, Blow pod. So go ahead and follow those. But guys, it's a big one. We have him back. The other half of the Ready, Set, Blow podcast. Chase Abel is in LA. What's up, son?
Yo, son.
What's going on, brother?
Let's go. First of all, this your producer who made me this tea.
You have fucking tea. I bought a 6-pack of beers and this fucking Momo has tea.
I know. As soon as I get to LA, I start becoming a bougie bitch. I start
I know you eat matcha bowls and shit. You doing you're doing your vision board in the morning.
Oh, it's bad.
Have you ever had a vision board?
I don't read books, Randy. you like, what are you
That has
saying?
nothing to do with books, but okay.
No,
I see your point.
You see my point. You have to read to know words to put stuff on a board.
Put stuff on my vision board. My vision is to be out of debt.
Yeah, that's
the simple vision.
I got bigger problems to fucking figure out, Randy.
Shit. So when'd you get into town?
I actually flew into San Diego first.
All right, nice.
I flew into San Diego on Friday. So, which I love Dago, man. You ever been down to Dago?
Of course. I've been out a bunch, man. I don't go down nearly as often as you would think, considering how close it is. But always great shows down there. The crowds are always fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot of fun. The drive down there is fucking miserable, man. There's just no, the only good time to do it is at 2 a.m. And at least when I drove out to Arizona this weekend.
Right.
At least when you drive out to Arizona, you're moving, there's beautiful views of the desert. You're just looking at traffic on the way down to San Diego. It's fucking miserable.
It's miserable.
It's miserable.
Well, I guess you guys can't really avoid any traffic scenarios
Not out here. Not post-pandemic, son. Shit is over. The fucking good times have passed.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of not sitting in traffic fucking forever.
This traffic is yeah, but San Diego, I like it because it's very very calm city.
Well, it's like LA without the bullshit. That's kind of how I put it.
Yeah.
There's enough going on. The women are just as hot, and they're not so far up their own ass.
A lot of hot women in there.
Oh, of course, dude.
Dude, my Tinder, the amount of options on my Tinder was I was like, am I even? I started questioning myself. I was like, why? Why am I? Why? There were so many hot women in a row.
Do you still use Tinder? Is that your still go-to out of all the dating apps?
Yeah.
I fuck with the new ones.
I just became a citizen last year, Randy.
That's right. Congratulations. That's the big news. Chase became a citizen.
Yeah, I keep things very.
Now you can.
It took me 40 years
and serve in the army if you want.
Oh, no,
I wouldn't recommend it, but
They still do drafts?
No, not yet. When World War III pops off with China after all these fucking balloons.
Shit. Shit.
Have you heard about this? All the balloons that are floating around out there? Have you seen any news in the last fucking 8 months since I've seen you?
I will tell you this.
That's a no. That's a Chase hasn't been abreast of what's been going on in the world.
I will be honest with you. I still haven't read a book.
Okay.
So
well,
I've been
there's
doing that
certain streaks you want to keep alive, and I think that's one of them, Chase. Ignorance. You want to stay ignorant because you'll stay happy. Yeah.
No, I get information through
memes. That's
yeah.
all the stuff is based on internet memes.
Yes. Just clip shots.
Yeah, but you did watch the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, that was a good game.
Who'd you have in it?
I had the Chiefs.
Okay.
I had the Chiefs. I actually had them 27-21.
Really? I would have thought you went with I thought you would have went with the dark skinned brother, Jalen Hurts, not.
Oh.
Not old light skinned Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I would have sided with
pretty boy Patrick
with the darkies.
With the darkies. Jesus.
With the darkies. No. Yeah, well, Patrick Mahomes, he's just a really all around great quarterback, and also the offense was just too high octane. But credit to the Philly, they played well. If that stupid call at the end wouldn't have happened, they would have had a chance.
Well, I thought they were going to lose early on because the defense had that fumble recovery for a touchdown. I looked this up. Apparently, 75% of the time, if a team scores a defensive touchdown, they win the game. And I was like, I knew the number was high, but I looked it up during the game, and I was like, oh, man, this doesn't look good for the Eagles. Even though they were still up fucking 7 points at that point.
was a good. It was a good game.
It was.
You know,
You
and,
watched the halftime show?
yeah. I mean, I had to because all the feminists told me to.
All the feminists and gay men said they demanded it of you.
There was so much like build up for Rihanna to play at halftime. Like there was a lot of like news leading up to her playing. I guess she hasn't, performed in a long time.
They always make such a big deal about it.
And her numbers were bigger than the actual Super Bowl. Yesterday, who tuned
Really?
in, her number was 118 million, if I'm not mistaken, that tuned in to watch the halftime, and was 113 million people watch the Super Bowl.
That's the thing about the Super Bowl, man. That's why I don't like watching it without other sports fans, because they care more about the commercials and the halftime show than they do the actual fucking game. You know, I care about the game. I could give a shit about
the extra stuff.
The Pepsi commercials and what Rihanna did at halftime. I don't give a fuck. I want to see the game.
You never cared about commercials? Son?
Of course not.
Come on, son. California raisins, bro. California raisins.
I remember them. Of course, those jingles are meant to be stuck in your head.
Right.
But I don't care. I don't like.
You don't look forward.
I want to see what's going on. I like that commercial. I hate them all. I hate all commercials. I hate them all equally. I could do without any of them.
Well, I could see some things haven't changed.
I know, no shit. I'm unfairly angry about something so banal as commercials during a fucking Super Bowl. I will say, though, the big reveal was that Rihanna was pregnant again, and I just for a second thought she got fat.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Because, look, 50 Cent came out last year looking a little puffy, and everyone gave him shit. It's like, oh, here's Rihanna looking fat. Are we going to give her shit now, too? Of course we're not going to, because she's a woman, and you can't mention a woman's weight ever. God forbid. But I thought, maybe we've gotten to the point where we're treating women equally, and we could trash Rihanna for getting fat. But it turns out she's pregnant with her second kid. Yeah. I think it's Nick Cannon's.
Nick Cannon's. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's not Chris Brown's after what he did to her.
Well, no, definitely not. Definitely not Chris's.
There's a guy, by the way, who fucking came back quick. I don't think he got canceled hard enough. Chris Brown for beating the shit out of her on the way to the Grammys. They canceled Louis C.K. for like 3 years for beating off in front of chicks. He punched a girl in the face multiple times, a megastar, and he's still as big as he ever was.
I think I'm gonna go back to like actually writing that vision board that you're telling me.
I think just stepping on controversial topic after controversial topic.
I think I'm gonna. Yeah,
that's all right. Show's gonna be canceled soon anyway.
You got a nice backdrop here.
Oh yeah, you like that?
Yeah,
got a new logo done, a little animation.
When was the last time I was actually? When was the last episode I was on? It was like around this time, right?
It was New Year's last year. New Year's 2022.
And you just to let the listeners know, I just want to let them know that the only reason why I am here because I was coming to LA, and and I just want to let the listeners know and my audience know that it's not because of Black History Month.
I know. One of the irony I have on Black History Month. I flew Chase out just for Black History Month. My one black friend. No.
Yes.
No. I have two. Come on.
You got it. I mean, yeah, you have to have two.
I don't want to look racist. I got to have at least two.
Or if you're gonna make that statement, you got to have at least two. You gotta have a backup.
Have a backup black friend. You're my number one. You're on the B team. Take the bench.
I'll take B team. B team still gets benefits.
Dude, speaking of cool events, so this weekend I went to the Waste Management Open in Arizona, in Phoenix, Scottsdale actually.
What's what?
It's a golf tournament. But it's like the party of golf tournaments.
Oh, my bad, because I thought I heard you say Waste Management.
Yeah, that's called the Waste Management Open. Waste Management sponsors it, but it's in Phoenix.
Okay, can I be honest with you? Like, as soon as you said Waste Management, I was thinking of like the people who throw away trash back home.
That is them, yeah.
Oh, so they
sponsor this event.
Oh, I'm sure that's a good time because they probably savages down there.
Oh yeah, well, I explained it to somebody like it's as if a NASCAR event fucked a PGA Tour event. Because, it's a lot of fake tits, fake lips, bad tattoos, and cowboy boots. All white. All white. White people, white pants, white belts, white hats. The only thing black there was people's credit cards. It was white. You would have loved it. White women, wall-to-wall white women.
What type of white women, though?
Rich ones. They're into country music, which I know you like. Not country music. You like women who are into country. White women who are into country music.
Yeah, because that's specific. I'm glad you made that because that's good. I like that. Yeah. You definitely.
It was awesome.
So what part of
Scottsdale?
Oh, so that's very wealthy people down
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Shout out to Katrina Barrett for hosting me.
Okay.
It was fucking.
So what did you get? Which where did you what time and where did you get in trouble, Randy?
Oh, I didn't get in any trouble, thank God. I didn't get into any trouble, but I will say I did get a few groans. So
Oh yeah, you get a yeah. I mean, you got to have a groan,
Yeah,
a night, a
I
groan.
shouted something that half the people around me enjoyed, the other half were absolutely aghast. So around like 3:30, towards the end of the day, the last golfers were out there. Some guy pops out and starts streaking. He's got like a little Speedo on, he's got a mullet, and he's got something written on his back, and he runs across like the 16th green or the 18th, whatever hole we're at, and the cops start chasing him. Then he dives into a pond.
Yeah.
And the cops are all waiting at the edge of the pond. Like, they're not trying to get wet. They're like, all right, come on in. You had your fun. And he's like, no. And he does a lap around the pond. He's fucking around. So at one point I shout, give him the Memphis treatment.
The what?
The Memphis treatment.
What's that? All right.
You don't know what happened in Memphis?
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Some shit happened to like black people. Some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Oh my, he's living under a rock, folks. Chase Abel, everybody. What a. So in Memphis, 5 black cops beat a black suspect to death.
Oh yeah.
When they dragged him out of his car.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I shouted that at this event, which is all white people, by the way, like I said.
Right.
And some of them were offended by it. The other half laughed. But I thought, I was like, look, at least that was black on black. It wasn't like it was a racially motivated,
Nah.
But they didn't like the reference.
Yeah.
They didn't like the reference.
Nah, I get it. I know. I can understand why. Yeah. I mean, but it's yeah. I mean, some people, you know how it is when as a comedian,
Yeah.
you're coming from a place of obviously like the joke intent, of course.
Yeah, and of course I use the most extreme example because it
Yeah.
if I use Rodney King, it wouldn't have like that's such an old reference. You use the most current, most palpable reference.
To get that shot.
I could have said, give him though, name any 1,000 of other times cops have beat a guy to death, unjustly, but that was the most recent poignant one. So to pull that one,
Right.
it's the current reference.
No, I get it. I mean, that's even that story alone when that came out, it was, it was.
Yeah, let me ask you.
It
about
was
that.
news,
What did you think about that? The Tyre Nichols Memphis Police incident.
I mean, I think honestly, it's just a sad situation.
Yeah, of course.
It's very sad that from many places. I think for one, it's that we even there's a lot of talks about them not even just being officers first, them being like 5 black men who happen to be officers, right?
Yeah, well, that was the question I had for you. Do you think there was a racial motivation
Yeah.
associated with it? Because they're still saying it's cops are racist, even though these 5 cops were all black. And I wanted to get your take on that before I fill you in on mine, because it kind of flies in the face of white cops over policing black people. That was 5 black cops over policing another black guy. So
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever had any trouble with the police? Any unwarranted trouble with the police? Let me rephrase that. I know you've been in trouble with the police.
Not recently.
Not recently?
Not recently.
You've been a good boy?
I've been pretty.
Yeah, after they started pulling out the guns, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to talk back anymore.
Nah, yeah. No, not recently. I haven't had any issues with the law. I'm pretty good with the law, aside from some isolated incidents.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you were in public safety. I know you have friends who were cops and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it from my position on that when it comes to anything comes from a place of experience.
Yeah.
I'm not. My own opinion is not swayed by anybody else's feeling towards a topic.
That's good. That's interesting, because I feel
most of the time, most of the time,
but
I feel
like a lot of people cast judgment based on hearsay and not their own personal experience a lot of times. So at least you saying look, I don't know what everyone else is up to. I know my interactions with the cops have been mostly whatever. So you're not taking somebody else's words and putting them in your mouth.
Yeah, and it's not because based on it's number one, it's all most of it. It's not even about the actual statement of that. It's more of just because I don't put myself in positions where cops are gonna actually like try to fuck with me. Like,
Yeah.
I avoid them as much as possible.
Yeah, that's,
you know,
that's
I
why
try to,
I
like,
always grew up.
I just
You
be
avoid
thinking
the
like,
police. Yeah.
I just
you never talk back
don't
to
do
them.
some-
You just avoid them.
You just avoid them.
Yeah,
Like,
you just avoid the cops
I
at
grew
all
up.
times.
I grew up at like in the era like you grew up in the same time, right? It was more of like
In the 80s,
stay
90s.
away from them.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing hot shit or if you're doing like shit that you know you're gonna get in trouble, don't be around them. Like just or don't put yourself in positions where like
You're going to get busted.
you can get busted. Like that's how I'm thinking.
Don't get caught.
But but I mean on a serious note, like more. I mean there are like I mean let's not get away from it. You know there are like this is a situation and like that's been going on for too many years, too long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just for you know just to even the fact that we even talking about them just happened to be 5 black cops.
Yeah.
You know. Also takes away from the fact that like you know
That-
they're not looking
what's
at
important.
They're looking
Yeah, their actions are what's important, not the race of the guys who did it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's where
That's
come
what
down.
bothers me because when they did it, I really felt. I would be honest with you. When I heard the news, I was like, "Fuck, man!" Not like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then they say, "Oh, 5 black cops." I'm like, "Okay, they're cops."
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
the
saying?
thing.
Like,
yeah.
so
and that's the thing. It's like I don't think
You think like and that's the thing that people misconstrue, dog. It's like you know when majority of black people are saying like, "Yo, like you know, fuck," you know. Like shit that's being done to black people that like you know that's been recorded and that like there's evidence of that. It's basically just saying like yo we're not saying all the bad you know what I'm saying we're saying like the
Yeah.
ones who
perpetrate those kind of fucking
and there's
brutality on people.
and there's but more importantly if you're a fact check person there's evidence that supports that like you know what I mean
Yeah.
so it's like here it's like you know so yeah it was all like and then it seemed like the story got brushed like pretty quickly though right like
Well,
after
yeah, because what happened was the Memphis district attorney and the mayor and the police department. It took them like as soon as they released the body cam footage, they had already fired and indicted those cops, which people are saying is a step in the right direction. Because in times previous, when things like this happened, you know, it would be we learn about it months later, and the cops wouldn't get fired for months.
So they
and
fired
charges
it.
would be months after that. So as soon as it happened, the department fired them, charged them with second-degree murder.
Of course they did.
Like, oh look, this is a step in the right direction, which I think it is. Look, you got to take the win you have in this. Obviously, it's a horrible situation, but the fact
at
that,
the price of five black men though as an example
and the one dead guy and and the dead victim, but.
because you know it takes a little longer for like you know other cops.
I
it takes a little longer.
I don't think now though. After Memphis, I think other police
They'll follow
departments
suit.
are gonna go quick.
I think they should.
because they realize how much smaller of a PR impact they would take if they get out ahead of it like that. You know,
I mean that makes sense. I just think also it just makes sense if you know that there's evidence that pretty much says like
yeah. I mean, it was very.
what are we waiting for?
They beat him to death. I mean, it was on tape.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the thing I take away from it. Like they keep trying, like you were saying, they keep trying to make it about race, but it's really about the police brutality and their tactics. And it's evident that even if 5 black cops stop a guy, they immediately go to and batons out and taser him and beat him to death. Then you could clearly see that race isn't as big of a factor as is police training and their response. That is like
Well, we're talking about I think for me it's the before that though. You know what I mean? That's like reaction. That's a reactionary response to fixing a solution. I'm looking at more from like what's happening before they even approach a man. Like
yeah, and that's bad police. I mean, they
know what I'm
came,
saying?
they dragged him out of the car. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just not good policing anywhere. Because I mean, you're going to incite a problem if you reach into somebody's car.
It's just
You know,
bad.
they don't. Cause they had all this, the flak jackets on. The fucking.
just bad.
They ran up to his window and started pulling him out. Like,
it's
how
bad.
he doesn't? He might be getting carjacked.
It's-
of course, he's going to fucking freak.
He's
like,
gonna- yeah.
like, if you don't know what's going on, you panic. And you run or you start to struggle with them if you don't know they're police. So like it's one of these things. Like, instead of focusing on who it's happening to, like you said, you take a step back and figure out why is it happening to begin with. Like
I mean, it's already. I mean, there's many. I mean, we don't have to like. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, but you don't really need to like look back again and try to figure out why this shit's happening. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking like we know why it's happening.
yeah,
like
are we going to do anything about it?
are we gonna do anything about it?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a
Are
fuck
we gonna,
about.
Are we going to make any action steps to
This is what
remedy it?
America like. This is what not America like. This is what like people like under like a lot of people here in this country like. It's like they just were like, well, we have to wait
Wait and see.
Like,
Yeah, how many more people got to die while we wait and see?
yeah. Well, take Congress, motherfuckers in Congress, like people like politicians, bro. Like,
Oh, they don't do
they
shit.
fucking like they have careers where they just sit there for years
And don't do shit.
and don't do nothing.
Yeah.
They look like they're doing something because they're getting dressed up and they're having meetings all day.
Yeah.
But like, where is the actual?
Oh, yeah.
Where
Where are the results?
Where are the results?
Yeah,
Bro?
they're nowhere to be found.
But it follows suits. They follow suits from like from the top. Like it follows suit from Congress, who makes laws and passes laws, right? And then what happens? Then the judiciary system and like follows suit.
Takes fucking months for them to get around to
Takes
anything.
and like it just keeps perpetuating because your fucking leaders are doing the same shit.
Do you know Congress is only working 150 days this year?
Can
They're making 175 grand a year on average to work 150 days.
where can I apply?
I know, right? And they get a lifetime pension if you serve once. So even that liar, Santos,
only one term? If you serve
yeah,
one term?
they get a pension.
For life.
Yep.
It's probably a small one, though.
Dude, it's still like 100 grand or more, and you get full medical benefits for life.
Yeah.
For serving for 2 years. It's the best no-show job in the world. The mafia wishes they can hand out seats on Congress. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well, they were at one
At some point, yeah,
but
at
they
some
were
point.
they were smart enough to be behind the scenes
exactly. Yeah, man. But like that's the thing about.
because Italians like to work. They're not working 140 days. Like,
No. They like to collect a paycheck. They don't like to work. No, that's the key. All of us want that. All of us
respects to my
the
Italian people.
But yeah, like it's one of these things. Like I don't see how they fix the problem unless we extract the racial element from it, because that's this thing. Like, as long as we're arguing about race, no one's going to argue about the ineffectiveness of policing in this country, because they're going to keep blaming it on race. But clearly, if 5 black cops behaved like 5 white cops would have, it's not a racial problem. It's a problem with policing. And I think those videos show how much of a gang mentality a lot of cops have. And look, I get it. They're
Are you surprised?
they're working a tough job at, and they face violence at times. I get it. But one, they're not soldiers. They're protecting citizens.
No, but how they're trained are trained under military.
Save each other's ass and fuck everybody else.
Well, it's a militant type of like
it is.
procedures that they learned from.
Yeah, it is, which I don't think military procedures are right for policing.
They're just an organized military.
Yeah, it's a paramilitary group,
Right.
is what it is. But I don't think policing should be a paramilitary organization.
What do you think it should be?
I mean, they have to, suppress violence, but they all shouldn't be jackbooted, vested up, fucking finger on the trigger on their goddamn like.
I know. I mean,
bro, you're handing out tickets most of the day.
Right.
Why are you so keyed up? Most of your job is fucking writing summonses. You're not. Most of the time, you're not in a fucking shootout with drug cartels. Most of the time, you're responding to domestic violence calls and to public drunken calls and drunk drive and DUIs and running red lights. Like, that's most of your day.
So basically,
you shouldn't be prepared for war to issue a ticket. I think it's a little bit overboard on the war and a little and not enough on just the day-to-day nuts and bolts of police work.
Yeah, I think it's all relative. I think it depends on obviously what part of the country you're from.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're living in like Wellesley, Massachusetts, right? There's no need.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
need for RoboCop to be fucking coming.
Yeah,
through
but
the
if you're in downtown inner city Chicago, there's a lot more violence going on.
more violence there, right?
Yeah. But I think going back to that gang mentality that police sort of adopt once they get indoctrinated into the policing system. The problem with that is that they're in it for each other and not for their sworn duty. Just like in Congress when it's I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, I'm conservative, I'm liberal, or with the president. Congress swears an oath to the Constitution. The president swears an oath to the Constitution. Police swear to serve and protect the community. They don't swear to protect each other. They swear to protect the law. And the law says you can't beat someone to death for no reason. So again, I go back to other cops who were there should have been like, hey, stop fucking kicking him while he's already handcuffed on the ground. Like other cops were like, hey, you're breaking the law. Fucking pull the cop who's breaking the law off the guy.
Right.
They stopped policing as those cops were hitting on
The other guy.
on Tyre Nichols while he was bound up. When they saw a cop hit him when he was already restrained, they should have enforced that law and said, hey, if you hit him again, you're clearly attacking a defenseless person. That is a crime. I will stop a crime if he does it and if you do it, other cop.
Right.
You can't let other cops commit crimes because it makes you as a cop, the good cops, look like fucking assholes. You know, and there's not enough of that.
There's not
you know,
enough of
I've made that analogy before. Like in the
not enough
mafia,
of
they
that.
police themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you kill an innocent person in the mafia, they kill you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not supposed to be killing innocent people. You're not supposed to be doing this or that. So the fact that you know, talking to internal affairs makes you a rat. It's like there shouldn't be rats. Like the concept of a rat in a police station shouldn't exist, because if rats are upholding the law, they're doing the job.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I think on a more bigger note is like, not a bigger note. I think, you know, in a perfectly defined world, right? If you was to rely on cops to protect your safety, right? You have to, like, you would think like they would be like that department or would be cemented in like truth, right?
Yeah.
So if you are a police department, right, you're a body, you're an image that represents truth and like
Justice.
and
yeah.
justice, right?
You enforce the
You
law.
enforce the
Justice.
law. So if that's the case, right, why does the idea of ratting
Bother you.
or
Yeah.
enters into like your brain? Because if you're a cop, as a kid, right, if I looked at a cop, I'm like, oh man, this guy's like, he's a representation of like
The law.
the law,
Yeah.
truth, all that shit, right? So I don't, like I said, to your point, it's like, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why,
There's
like,
no such
people,
thing-
why do cops get so fucking like weird about a motherfucker telling the truth?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. They get criminals to be informants all the time, because that's their job. They're supposed to turn criminals into informants to catch other criminals.
Yeah.
But then they don't want each other to rat on each other when they break the law. It's like, no. Now you're just a gang protecting yourself from the law. Yeah. You know, you're no longer a law enforcement organization. Yeah. You're just a gang with a badge at that point.
The police department is the biggest gang in the world.
Oh, easily.
I mean, like, the law enforcement like is the biggest gang in the world. You know, but you know, it's just defined differently. You know. But
but because they, they have badges, they're not criminals, supposedly.
Yeah.
You know, but there's plenty of criminal cops out there. I mean, we've seen that in history. How many fucking corrupt cops there were? There's a constant problem in New York and Boston.
I know.
You had
Yeah.
an FBI agent in Boston who was who worked for Whitey Bulger. You know, like
yeah. For my friends, like I know for a fact shouldn't be cops. Like I know I know them.
Yeah.
I know them. Like, you know,
you shouldn't be doing this. You're not built for this.
Nah, you just nah, bro. Like you need to stop it. That's enough's enough. Like, you know, like exactly. You don't need to be a cop. He's like,
let's not go overboard here.
Yeah, he's like, well, my dad was a cop, you know, and it's like, yeah, but your dad also was
shouldn't have been a cop. Your dad also was a criminal. You shouldn't have been a cop.
Right.
It goes down the line.
Right. Well, it's also the idea like your dad also was a different human being.
Yeah, that's true too.
So it's like, why follow this kind of like, you know, tradition where if it's not you, don't do it.
Yeah, there's something they should do. They should spend more time on, dude, evaluating candidates before they become police officers, right? Because if someone has a hair-trigger temper or has bad morals or values, that kind of thing, like you were saying, like one of your buddies, if they screen them well, they won't get these guys in or gals in who would be corruptible. You know,
yeah.
If you screen your employees well, and you know, like this guy's a little bit of a psychotic, maybe we shouldn't give him a gun. This guy has anger issues, or this person has had, racial arguments before, so maybe he's not good in this kind of community. Like,
right.
But of course that takes more money, and whenever it comes to policing or law enforcement, they don't want to spend any money on the soft stuff, but they'll keep spending money on bulletproof vests, on guns and bullets. You know, on fucking tanks. I mean, police departments have tanks now.
Yeah,
they buy military weapons that the federal government doesn't need anymore. So that's how they have these like SWAT tanks.
Nice.
You know, and fucking gunship helicopters. Like you don't need an Apache as a police department. I don't think a Hellfire missile is required to police Compton. You know, like it's insane, dude.
They basically, police departments basically just play Battleship.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they just dressed like it's the game Battleship, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like they're just ready.
Yeah. Oh, murders are high in this area this month. Let's just put 400 more cops over there.
Well,
of course they're going to find a problem if you put them all in one place.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're investing to refuel the problem,
yeah,
that's exactly what's happening.
Like that's the truth. They don't want to stop crime because if they stop crime, they run out of money. Right? Think about it. If the crime rate was zero, we would still have police because they would justify their own existence. Like if no one in this country committed a crime, if no one let's just take Los Angeles, if no one broke any sort of driving violation, the city of Los Angeles Police Department still has to issue tickets. So they're going to find some reason to write you a ticket because they have revenue numbers to hit.
Sure.
They have to justify their own existence.
It's the same.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I do the same thing when I do quotas when I fuck a couple fat bitches.
you have your fat bitch quota for
You
the
gotta
month?
have a quota. Like you gotta like you can't. You gotta, like,
Zero's not an answer. You know, we need numbers.
You need a
Chase.
number to go.
We need statistics.
Yeah,
but
and I mean, and when I say fat, I mean like Lizzo, respectively fat.
Lizzo plump.
Like Lizzo, I respect my body like fat.
Lizzo, I respect my body fat. That's amazing. Man, speaking of our friends, I did want to talk about this because yesterday I was dying laughing. So we were driving over to the Laugh Factory. Chase and I are bullshitting, catching up, and
it's been like a year.
Yeah, and he was asking about, have you seen this person? You heard from that person, and I won't say his name, but a buddy of ours who'd been on the podcast before. I tried to get him back on, and he was giving me the runaround. I was like, he's busy living his life. He'd gotten married and all this. And Chase goes, oh yeah, he's got a kid now. I'm like, what? I don't remember seeing that on Instagram or hearing about it. He would have texted me because I texted him in the last couple months. And Chase goes, I'm like, where'd you hear that? He's like, well, I saw him holding a baby on Instagram. And I'm like, son, just because he has a picture with a baby doesn't mean it's his. I was like, that's not. Chase stated it like it was fact, and I'm like, that's how a rumor starts. Like that could be his niece or his nephew. I took pictures with babies. Yeah. I got nieces and nephews. I got mad fucking nieces and nephews. And so for some reason, Chase like, oh well, I saw him with a picture of baby, so that's fact now. That's how he gets all of his news from Instagram.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I think it's how we grew up too in the neighborhood I grew up. It's like if you just saw it, that's what.
Yeah, you kind of put it on.
Just kind of put it together, like you just,
I've said this to you before. I want to find a rumor that sticks. Like I want to start a rumor so big that it comes back around to me. Like.
Oh, okay.
Like a big enough rumor about a celebrity or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
just
sure
to see how far we can get it to go. Because lies travel faster than the truth on the internet, and you know that.
Oh, lies travel faster than anything.
Yeah, dude. Faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, lies travel faster than it's. But the only thing with lies, though, the reason why it's like so crazy, that's the fact that like it actually can hold weight. Like it can actually like shift. Like situations like of a lot, you know what I mean? So it's like it could change the whole trajectory of like what the outcome should have been.
That's true, and also once you start telling lies, the game of telephone makes the lie more vicious, right? Like if I say something about someone, that person says it to someone else, and then someone else embellishes my own lie, and then all of a sudden the lie comes back, and it's like, you're like, oh, did you hear so and so had a baby, and then it's all of a sudden like, oh, did you hear, he had 4 babies out of wedlock. He's like, what? Like, it was 1 baby with his wife. Now it's 4 babies with 3 different girls. What the fuck? Like, how did that? How did that become something else?
Do you ever think like, how many lies do you think like people told you that you think like is?
Oh, that's a great question. How often do people lie to me? I would say probably whatever the average is for most people. I'd say, and I think people lie on average. I would say 15 to 20% of the time. They're not telling the full, complete truth.
Oh, really? 15, 20%?
Yeah, and that's including lies of omission, which is by not saying the full truth, as well as commission, where you're just completely making up a story.
You're making up a story.
Yeah, I'd say 15, 20% of the things that come out of people's mouth is a fucking lie.
Is a lying?
Yeah. I'd say 20% of what people talk about is not fully true.
I think it's more than that.
You think so?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's more than that. I think it's more of that because 8-9 hours a day, if you have a job, you're lying right.
See, there you go. That's true. I'm thinking about it in my lifestyle where we're just hanging out with other comedians who have no reason to lie because we can't get fired from our job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But if you work in an office or you work a straight job, a blue collar job, you have to be full of shit all day long.
Yeah.
So it's probably half of your day is a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
A full 50% of your day is a complete fucking lie.
Oh, trust me, I know because I have to deal with these fucking,
excuses and shit.
Oh, it's just, dude, I've, it's so, I know now 100% that I can't deal. I know I can't work in corporate America. Like, it's not for me. Like, I can't do it. Like,
it's a lot.
The whole fucking thing. It's all a magic.
Well, you got to pretend.
It's all a
to
magic
give a
show, dude.
You have to pretend to give a shit.
I'm
so
a team
much
player.
I don't give a fuck about this business.
Yeah.
Like as long as my check's clear, I don't give a fuck if this place burns to the ground.
It's just, and that's also just people coming in, just like trying to prove that they can, like, they think they know shit, but they really don't, but they're trying to prove their bosses like they can. It's that. It's like lack of accountability, just trying to fix the problem, you know.
Oh, well, that's a big problem.
Deflection of
That's a big problem. I know my time in corporate America, people covering things up. People covering up problems so they don't get in trouble, but the problem just gets worse.
It gets worse.
Yeah, it's like, no, you tell me immediately.
Yes.
If there's a mistake that's been made so we can fix it.
It's like a leak on a leak on the ceiling.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden your ceiling caves in.
Yeah.
The whole ceiling caves in instead of just putting, some plaster over the hole. Like the whole fucking thing falls on top of you.
It's just mind-boggling to me. Like, there's so many people that just commit to the circle of fucking their own problems.
Oh my God.
Like, if you just see like, I work a job, you know that. Like, fucking, same shit I do, It's just all day, constant, like deflection. It's like deflection of accountability. It's like just, or just saying, I don't know. You know what's also that I've noticed too lately, bro? Like, people are afraid to fucking, like, fail. Like, they're afraid to, like, get in trouble.
Yeah.
They don't want to, like, just say I fucked up.
Yeah. Or they don't want to say, like you were about to say, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like, you don't have to have the answer. I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. I don't know. I can find out, or we can find out, or you can help me figure out the problem. How to solve. But but they don't want to say I don't know because they don't want to look stupid and lose their job. It's like, bro, not knowing something is tolerable. Lying to me about it is not. Like covering it up is not tolerable.
Exactly. It's just because I say no pretty much a majority of the time.
Because I usually don't know shit.
I'm majority of the time. I don't know things, but I've always just had the will to want to learn.
Yeah.
Or learn from the people who know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If you are willing to admit you don't know, then you have the opportunity to learn. Whereas if you say you know and you don't, you lose the opportunity to actually learn something in that situation.
And everyone's full of shit because people act like they fucking don't do this shit, but they do.
Of course.
I know fucking friends of mine, they fucking, like, they live in their own fucking world. Like, they think they don't. I know friends that think they know shit. Like, they're so full of shit. Like, they think. Like, they full talk like they know, like, and it's like as soon as they don't know something, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, but go this way. You take a left and a right." It's like, motherfucker, you don't even know the city I just named. Like,
I'll be honest though, I do that when people ask me directions in the street.
You just get fake.
If I don't know, it's like, "Oh yeah, 2 blocks down, make a left." Just because I don't want to be bothered.
You could just say, "I don't know."
Yeah. Good point.
Call back.
I call back. I feel like saying 2 blocks down to the left will get them away from me faster. I just want the conversation to end.
You just want to end.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a little selfish about that. But here's a good question for you. Who do you think gets lied to more? A person's spouse or a person's boss? It's a good one, right?
I would say spouse.
Spouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say spouse because, like, you typically won't. You'll lie to your boss, but like, on the receiving end, like, if you get caught,
the consequences
are high because you can actually get.
I also think the lies you tell your boss are not as pernicious as the lies you tell your spouse. Right? A lie to your spouse is, "Oh, your ass doesn't look fat in that dress. You look great." That's a little white lie. No one gives a shit. But if you're lying to your boss, it's because you're trying to cover your ass. So it's a little bit more, there's more, like you said, more at stake.
It's more at stake.
More at stake.
Yeah, I know. Please, spouses for sure.
They get lied to.
They lie to a lot. You know, dude. Trust me.
I would argue to stay married, you have to lie to your spouse.
I think
just so you don't just so you can avoid arguments sometimes. So I was like, "Oh, do you want to go to my mother's house?" Fuck no. But you just say, "Yeah, baby, let's go." Bro, like that happens all the time.
What are you saying, bro? Like, people before they even get married to their spouse are fucking lying to themselves, son.
Yeah, that's who you lie to the most is yourself.
So like, before you even get married, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, she's the one. She isn't.
She ain't. She ain't.
She ain't.
She ain't, Bob.
But I'm getting older. I'm losing my hair, so this is the one now.
Yeah. And she's a nurse, and she's got great
she's
health
got benefits. I already got her pregnant, so I guess I got to stick with this one for a little while.
She bought me a Traeger grill.
Traeger grill. Like, that's what you need to get married, Chase. That's your dowry. Is your Traeger grill?
Oh, but that's any man's thing. If you have a nice grill, that's your piece, right?
Could you imagine, son, back in the day when men would get dowries to marry a chick?
Oh, what's that?
So a dowry is back in the day as a gift to the husband, because women weren't thought of, in historical times, women weren't thought of as their own people. They were thought more of as property. So the women, like a woman was her father's problem until she got married. Then she became her spouse's problem. So in order to facilitate the marriage, like, like back in the Bronze Age, like, oh, if you marry my daughter, I'll give you 50 goats.
Right.
Right. And that was called a dowry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically just some sort of compensation for taking the problem that was his daughter off his hands. So she's now your wife and now your problem. You got to feed her. Kind of a deal.
Kind of a deal type thing, yeah.
Could you imagine if they still gave out dowries today?
Oh, they do.
Well, I mean, maybe in India.
They do. There's definitely fucking places where you can't even order a Coke.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think a dowry would be in the United States though? Like if there was such a thing here, what would a man get in exchange for marrying a woman?
What would he get?
What do you think is appropriate dowry for a woman in the United States?
I'll be honest with you. The quality of women now, you're not gonna get much.
I don't think you're wrong.
I'm just, Randy. I'm trying to be honest here, man. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing it.
You get some more fucking coupons to Ralph's. That's all you get.
I'm not getting. It's not good. It's not looking good.
Yeah, man. It really. Somewhere along the line,
I mean, my whole reel, bro, like on Instagram, with I'm just like, it's just, what am I looking at?
Well, yeah, look at the way we treat workers now, right? Like back in the even ancient Egypt times, even before you get to 18th century Western culture slavery, with black folks, even going back to the ancient Egyptians, having a indentured servitude, slave labor force was more economical, right? Now, most companies don't want to have employees on their payroll. They'd rather have you as a 1099 contractor because they can just pay you by the hour and fuck off when you're not around.
Yeah,
and they can fire you. They don't owe you shit. So having people on your books as a company is a liability. So having your wife, your spouse as some sort of property of yours in that old school dowry methodology would be more detrimental than just renting her.
It's renting, like a rent.
It's just not it's not economical. I'll pay while I have her, and when she's not around, she can go fuck off.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Randy's basically his next business venture is going to be a renter center.
Yeah, I'm a rent a bitch. I think it's called prostitution, but I'm going to do a class.
Yeah, there's already.
They're not going to have sex with you. They're just going to do spouse stuff.
They already have that stuff. They already have that stuff. So I've heard.
Word on the street is.
Word on the street is that this place, all you do is go in, put the money on the table, don't look at her, and then just get on the table naked. So I've heard.
It's Valentine's Day, brother.
Yeah, it's the cookies and cream segment of the show.
Today's the day, yeah. And I have
you got I don't got.
So we have questions. So there's going to be a two-parter. We're wrapping up this first hour shortly, and then we're going to do listener questions after that. And we have some Valentine's Day questions. But I did want to get into a little news with you. And there's one story that we'll start out with that is just priceless.
What's that?
Just priceless. So listen to this. A primary school in Essex has banned all Valentine's Day cards after a 6-year-old wrote to his teacher that he would, quote, plough her into next week.
Wow.
So a 6-year-old in Essex, I think the UK it would be,
yep,
sent his teacher a love letter for Valentine's Day, and he said he would bust her ass up into next week. Have you ever sent a Valentine's card as a kid?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And what kind of shit would you put in there? Like when you were Valentine's Day notes when you were a young whippersnapper.
What time was it? Well, just little, it'd be like kids shit, like maybe like a piece of candy, or like
write a little poem.
Write a little poem, I would just say,
Were you a creative guy when it came to Valentine's gifts and whatnot?
Yeah. I always drew. I was a big drawer.
Okay.
Yeah, I drew. I was like one of my first early kind of introductions to I guess art was drawing. Like I draw.
Okay, so you sketch the girl something.
I would I would just sketch. Yeah, sketch I'd make a picture and I would pretty much copy a comic book or something and draw Batman or and just give it to him. I was a simpleton. What the fuck I was
I never liked Valentine's Day, as you well know. But one time I did buy 2 roses for 2 different girls, and they didn't like that.
How did they know that you were getting them?
Well, because like you buy they sell them at the school, like, oh, it's $5 for a rose, send it
Sure.
to your Valentine.
Yeah.
And I wasn't dating either of them, but I was into both of them, so I was like, yeah, I'll go one for her and one for her.
Right.
And they both like, oh, it's so sweet. And then and 2 hours later they found out I got 2 of them. They were both fucking hot at me for it. They were pissed.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, fucking 15.
See, even
I was like a freshman or a sophomore in high school.
see, that's what I'm saying. Like, ladies, y'all gotta start like even at that early age, y'all start become bitches.
They both wouldn't date me, but they both were really excited that I got them something. But then they got angry that there was somebody else. It's like,
What?
Well, if you want to be with me, step up. You know what I'm saying? Like, say something.
Say something. to fucking think like, or to have like the audacity to think like you're the only one.
Oh my god! The internet should have taken that right out of you at this point.
Like I'll be happy if someone gave me a gift, like anyone.
I'll take the shit.
Yeah, and if I saw someone else with it, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, oh, he likes her. Oh, she likes him too. Whatever. It's like, dude, I've never compared. Like, if I just step up, but old school. Like, hey, it's like more like old school, like guy shit. You woo the woman over the next guy, right?
Or you court them.
You court them. You just you have games.
Yeah, but the problem is, like,
if you really like the girl.
Yeah, but I think the issue is back in the day, you would have to win a woman over, and you would. Now it's like they have so many options on the table, just like we do, just like men do because of the internet. So it's like, oh yeah, you won me over for now, but I'm still going to keep a toe in that water.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. So it's not like, oh, she's my girl now and then she's in it for me.
Men,
I feel like in her mind, she still has the other motherfucker on the back burner.
Who plays their options better, men or women?
Women.
Let me finish the fucking question. Right?
Women. I mean, who does
Randy
it
was
better?
ready, said he was like, women.
Yeah. Unless it involves feats of physical strength, women do it better. I mean, they're just so much more manipulative. I
think it hurts. It hurts more. They know how to they know how to their options can make a man go fucking crazy.
Yeah, well, I think it's also an evolutionary thing. I mean, think about it. To survive in a society where men are by and large more physically strong than a woman, so we could physically overpower them at any point in time, they have to be more clever. So they evolved to be more clever than men and more manipulative and more socially engaging and socially aware and clever. Mm-hmm. So they to survive, women have to be, just smarter socially than we are. And that's why we're never going to beat them in an argument. We're never going to, overpower. Dude, I mean, they talk about, like women are the, are men are the dominant, sexual group. It's like, no, women run everything. Anything we do is for women. Like I said, do you think Jeff Bezos wants to be a billionaire just to impress his boys? No, he wants to fuck chicks. You know what I'm saying? He needs that money to bang hot girls.
Well, they say,
and he got that money, divorced his wife, and banged a hotter chick. Yeah. It's proven. So there's no,
Yeah, I think there's a saying out there. I think there's a saying that says women hold the keys to sex, men hold the keys to marriage.
Yeah, that's that's very true.
Yeah, there's so, based on that type of
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my woman department has always been, a little,
a little rough,
a little rigid.
Oh, speaking of, I actually wanted to bring this up, and I saved it. I got to pull it up. Give me 1 second. Because we were talking about, married couples and unmarried couples, and I saved something on my phone because I thought this was super interesting. Where is it? Oh, come on. See, this is what happens when you don't come prepared. God damn it, Randy. Here it is. Single adults without kids now make up 29% of all households in 2022, up 13% from 1960. So now, basically, the amount of single people without kids tripled since 1960.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so now there's more single people without kids than married with no kids, married parents, and single parents. Now, the question is, do you think that's healthy for society?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of these people are not producing shitty kids. Fuck your shitty kids. We don't need them. fucking you know they're gonna grow up shitty as soon as they spit them out.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
this is not gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it's just more traffic. It's just more people on the
Yeah,
101.
you're in the way. Just don't even have them.
I don't know, man. I think in some ways though it does erode society. That is the one thing about marriage and kids. It does keep people in line. If you're single and have no kids, you're dangerous, right? Because you could do whatever the fuck you want, live any lifestyle you want, right? You're a free agent. But when you're married and when you're married with kids, you got responsibilities. So you can't just quit your job. You can't just decide to become a comedian like we did. You can't just fuck off and go live in Tulum or Bali.
Yeah.
Like it keeps order when you have a ball and chain, when you have a physical restriction to you.
Oh, there's a lot of positives to having kids for sure. I know a lot of people who changed themselves in a more productive, controlled way because they had to force themselves to be more organized.
Yeah.
To your point,
they had to put the kid first.
Yeah. And usually, what happens is when you take yourself outside of yourself, usually you'll see.
When you stop thinking about number one and start thinking about number two,
you start thinking
about
about number 2, 3, or 4. You start really becoming the actual person you ultimately become. But if you're single, you just don't. You're
you
living.
Don't give a flying fuck about any of that bullshit.
I mean, I don't know. So a woman asked me that the other day. She's like, are you ever gonna settle down? And I was like, I don't know.
With who and for what?
I was like, yeah, it's like
what's in it for me, man?
It's just
you start asking that question.
Yeah, I mean,
what am I gonna get out of this hustle?
It's just I don't know. It's just people are just full of shit now when it comes to relationships.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, like you're all these like. Do you see all these like men and women debates about like the opposite sex and how they should be?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Like now, there's like
we talk about it all the time on this podcast.
All these well, it's but it's just like. I'm just like my answer to it is just like, hey, just figure it out.
Yeah.
Just fucking figure it out. Why do I have to listen to an hour and a half podcast of you fucking just talking about nonsense?
Going on and on about the same old shit.
Yeah, dude, I was at this event. My friend was DJing this event in Boston, and she was DJing one of these like fucking wine dating relationship type of events for women, where they all come with their single friends and they fucking listen to a bunch of 3 people fucking tell them how relationships should be.
Oh yeah, the dating show. I mean, I don't want to name names of podcasts, but I mean, some of the biggest podcasts in the world are dating advice shows. And look, we give a lot of dating advice on this show. We'll probably answer some questions of yours after the break. But obviously, if you're asking a podcast, you're at the end of your rope. Just give up.
I mean, it's just these 3 people were just like, there were 2 women and 1 guy, and there's always this fucking one guy who always acts like he cares about women, but he really doesn't.
There's always the white knight.
There's always like the fucking. Well, he was black. This nigga.
Oh, of course.
He was a dark knight.
He was the dark knight.
He was the dark knight in this fucking case. Like fucking. And he dressed up as like Cedric the Entertainer. It was hilarious.
Oh my god, he had the 15-button purple suit.
He had it all, alligator shoes.
Wow.
Giving dating advice, and I'm like, am I in a fucking time zone here? What the fuck? What is going on? And the one woman was like, yeah, how do I find love? Just in that, and he's just saying like he's not even answering the question. He just like,
of course,
he's Donald Trumping it like the whole time.
There's a lot of that bullshit going on. Bro, I mean, look at Steve Harvey. The fucking guy has like 5 ex-wives, and he's out there giving relationship advice. And it's like, bro, come on.
Bro,
you want relationship advice from someone who's been married for 75 years, not Steve Harvey, who's paying alimony to 4 different women.
Randy, one lady.
Unless the advice you want to get is how to pay alimony.
One of the ladies asked how long that they were in relationships, right? And the answer that I would have thought would have been just exactly what you just said. They were married probably 15, 20 years or something, right? Now now they're able to fucking tell their side of what they think is a great relationship advice. Yeah. Each one of them were married 5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, you're giving marriage relationship advice and you've been only married 5 to 6 months. What the fuck do you know?
Oh, bro. I mean, there's
like, you barely, dude, most men who are married 5 to 6 months don't even know that their wife fucked their brother, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And their father.
And they're like,
I mean, it reminds me of the old Seinfeld joke where he talks about cab drivers in New York. Like, apparently to be a cab driver in New York, all you need is a face. Apparently to be a marriage counselor or someone or a life coach in this country, all you need is a face. All you need is an Instagram account. To be a dating coach, all you need is a TikTok account, and you're good to go.
Right.
Right. You don't need shit.
Yeah, we talked about that before on this podcast before.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just a lot of full of shit people out there, and it's
too many full of shit people.
And I think a lot of people are having a hard time vetting full of shit people.
Oh yeah, finding them out.
Before it used to be
ferreting them out.
Yeah, it used to be a lot easier when we grew up.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, you had to lie to someone's face back in the day, right? And they could see how you were doing because they could see you.
Yeah.
Now on social media, all you put on there is the best version of yourself and a very curated version of your life, and you just say things on the internet, and no one can fact check you because no one actually knows you personally anymore in that way.
Right.
So lying now, it's become fucking way easier.
Oh, it's way easier.
Way easier.
Oh, I know. I do it all the time. I'm telling.
Yeah, it's helped me out greatly. All right, here's the last story before we go to part 2 of the podcast and answer your questions. And this one I'm happy about, Chase. Finally happened. New Jersey restaurant is banning children younger than 10 years old from dining there. A New Jersey restaurant that plans to ban children under the age of 10 is garnering both support and criticism on social media. Nettie's House of Spaghetti in Trenton Falls, New Jersey, announced on February 9th that on their social media platforms that they will no longer allow children under the age of 10 to dine in their restaurant. They said their decision was made because it's been, quote, extremely challenging to accommodate children at the location. Yeah, so we've talked about this before. Keep your kids out of the fucking bar. And finally, there's a restaurant out there. I'm going to dine at Nettie's next time I'm in New Jersey because there won't be any kids there. I could say fuck all I want. I can get drunk and act the fool.
But didn't it? I feel like there was a time where this wasn't allowed, right?
Yeah, in the 80s, our parents would just leave us home.
Yeah.
There was no rule. It just kids they wouldn't pay for kids to go out to dinner.
Right.
They'd say, sit home, watch his brother and sister. They wouldn't even hire a sitter. Like my older sister, who's 18 months older than me, would watch me and my younger brother. And she was 10, I was 8, and my brother was fucking 5 or 3, whatever. And that was just keep an eye on each other. Don't answer the doorbell if it rings. And they just went out for 6 hours and then came back.
100%.
And if anything was broken, that was our ass. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we stayed in line.
Oh yeah, I took care of my brothers. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah, you were the oldest, of course.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. It's
Also, to heap criticism on these people, it's like, what is wrong with there being adults-only establishments? There are kids-only places. I'm not going to fucking Chuck E. Cheese by myself.
No.
Why can't there be an adult-themed restaurant just for adults? Yeah, we don't want kids here. Why can't they say that? Why? Like, people are attacking this restaurant on social media. Why can't they just serve the customer they want?
I just want to say this. Like, I want to say this. Anyone who takes any minute of their time during the day to go on a computer or a laptop, to power it on, to go look at something, find something you don't like, make time to actually be mad at it, and also make time to fucking put some keystrokes into it to make a full sentence paragraph.
About a Yelp review?
About fucking how much you don't like your fucking whatever. You know what I mean? You are a pussy.
You're a loser.
You're a loser. Like, you know what I mean? Just don't like it and just go rub one out in the next room. You'll be fine. You will literally forget about why you're mad if you just go fucking rub one out in the next room.
I agree with you, man.
Like,
I can't imagine spending more than 30 seconds on something I don't like.
I care. I don't even know, but something I don't care
enough. I don't care.
I don't care enough.
Yeah, I don't care enough.
I don't care enough. Like, I don't care enough to actually care about something that doesn't care for me.
Yep, exactly. Like, I'm going to take time out of my day to take a shit on you on the internet. It's like, bro, I could be writing another joke.
Yeah.
I could be taking a shit. I could be jerking off. I could be doing anything more productive than trashing, than like, I didn't like this. Like, what is this going to do? Nothing gets achieved by that.
I think it's, you know what it is? I think it's actually in their mind. They think like they're doing something because the action is like.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm typing something. Someone's going to read it. And then,
Yeah. But people should treat Yelp reviews the way they treat writing your congressman. That was a big thing when, not a big thing, but it was a thing when I was a kid. Like, if you were upset about something in your neighborhood, I'm going to write a letter to the congressman.
Yeah.
I remember my mom and my grandmother said it once, and I'm like, first of all, I ain't going to fucking read it. And if he does, it's going to go in the trash. What the fuck does he care about one vote? Like, he's got all these other people to please and all these other
right.
lobbyists he's got to suck money out of.
Yeah.
You don't give a fuck about your letter.
Sure.
You know, so fuck your Yelp review. Same thing. Writing a Yelp review is more lame than writing your congressman. You'll get the same result. Fucking nothing.
But just find different ways to fucking be mad at something. I
Bring
don't
your
know.
business somewhere else. That's the best thing you can do. Stop patronizing the place. You know, if enough people are upset and they stop going, a business is going to change their policies or get closed.
Yeah.
You know, talk with your wallet.
Yeah.
That's what motivates people in this fucking world. Money. You want to fuck with Nike or you want to fuck with Visa or whatever, name any other company you don't like, Disney, because people don't like them because now they're too woke. Stop going to the movies. Stop going to the Pixar movies. Stop buying the fucking toys, you know, Toys R Us, the Pixar toys. Like, cut that shit out. Their profits will drop. Like, hey, we got to cut this shit out. You know, like we're losing customers here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're the problem.
Yeah, the customer base is the
Yeah,
problem.
all these people who are writing letters to like politicians, getting mad at like Nancy Pelosi, getting mad at like fucking Chuck Schumer, fucking whoever.
Yeah, pick your politician. Everyone hates them.
Whether the fucking, the fucking chick from Arizona who fucking, who just fucking worked at fucking Walmart as a supervisor. Now she's like fucking, the senator at
She was a Walmart greeter. Now she's this fucking senator from the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, she was on fucking, she wasn't even a fucking employee. She was a temp. Some fucking
She was wrapping Christmas gifts for the season.
Yeah, she was on the third job of the temp agency, and she ended up being a senator. Fucking, it's just people's opinions from like I don't understand where they like who.
That's a problem too. We respect people's opinions that you shouldn't respect. Like wait, so and so said this. It's like, well, they're an asshole, so why am I going to listen to what they say? Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump said, well, fuck them both. Like, I don't care what they're. It's like, if I don't respect them, why would I want to hear their opinion on?
But this is what they do, though. This is what these like crazy fucking celebrity, crazy people who are like famous because stupid people make them famous, right? Of course. And then what happens is I, as a civilian, have to fucking almost get fired because I had an argument with my fucking manager who likes the Kardashians, and I fucking told her why.
Oh my God.
And I'm fucking almost got fired because, and the Kardashians don't know me from a hole in the wall. But
your supervisor cared about a famous person that doesn't even know them.
Because I'm fucking warped in the matrix of the
You're stuck in it.
I'm stuck in it.
Yeah.
Because, she's like, well, I love the Kardashians. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because they're great businesswomen. I'm like, they don't have
great businesswomen.
I was like,
sucking dick on tape makes them great.
I was like, yeah. Oh, I was like, how are they great businessmen? Like, I don't even think they understand how an LLC works. Like,
No.
Or like,
no, their mom pimped them out.
I'll
give it to Chris. Chris is sharp because she figured out a way to whore out her daughters without looking like without looking like a madam.
I mean, for me, like I come from a different place when I look at things, right? A little bit.
Oh yeah, look,
I come from a place of like, so it's like for me, I can't see myself putting like my family.
Of course, no, I'm with you on that. I'm just admitting that she found an angle. I'm not saying I agree with Chris Kardashian's angle.
Sure.
It's like she did that. It's really scummy. But
there's a formula.
Yeah, there are people that make billions of dollars selling heroin. I don't respect them for selling heroin, but they made $1 billion.
They made $1 billion.
Like they got the result they wanted. I don't respect their methods, but
Yeah.
I'm just acknowledging that she was able to reach those heights by pimping out her daughters on the internet.
She did. Oh, I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what's next?
Exactly.
Because
what's next? She made her husband cut off his dick. She has to keep upping her ante.
She's got to beat herself up.
Yeah, exactly. She got to pimp out. Pretty soon, her grandkids are going to get pimped. That's what's coming next.
She started dating a black dude out of the woodwork. That was fucking interesting.
Well, she got to keep it. That's family tradition. All right, guys.
Right.
That's the end of part one. We'll be back to answer your questions. Obviously, follow Chase at Chase Abel. Check him out on Cut to the Chase podcast. Follow me at Randy Valerio, at Ready Set Blow Podcast, everywhere. This is part one. We're coming back with part two, answering your questions. We'll be right back. Peace.